Here it is.
Wow.
It says unsafe, and it says it right there. You see it?
This is how we have to go home now. We're home in a hazmat outfit.
There's no home here.
We got married right here.
Amen.
Just beyond belief.
Yeah.
I don't know if we could live here. Morgan really doesn't want to live here. But I also don't want to abandon my community. I mean, Altadena is my community, so I don't know what to do. What would you do?
We were actually trapped and had to break through my glass doors to even get out the house.
Welcome home, Ondi.
Randy's my across the street neighbor.
I said, there's no way the fire was gonna make it all the way to our house.
That's downtown Altadena.
And it did. This was our family legacy.
You moved into a Black community where we are not on the priority list to save our lives. They've been wanting to get us out of there for a very long time.
Altadena is not for sale. Altadena is not for sale. We want to make sure that Supervisor Barger know that we want to be a part of the conversation. Hi.
Sorry.
How are you?
Not today. No, I know.
There's a lot of community members who are saying we might have to start sleeping at the park because we are unhoused.
What's happening at the house?
They're saying that they're going to do a foreclosure.
What?
Yeah.
I come back here just to remember how to get here and just to know the way back home.
That's my bedroom wall right there. My safest space in the world.
Altadena, this is the largest debris mission in the 250 years that the Corps of Engineers and the Army has been in existence. And I have 100% confidence that it will rise up again.
Then all the walls came down. All the walls came down.
This is good. It's not.
I see you. You're in front of a, are you in Joshua Tree or nearby?
I'm Joshua Tree.
Yeah.
Where we now live.
I recognize it, the landscape.
Yeah, look.
But, yeah, no, I know.
You see it?
Oh, yeah.
You
That
see all
is
the
a
trees?
Joshua Tree, undeniably. Yeah, no, thank you.
Yeah, I'm looking at it. It's where I discovered this chair on the land where we now live. And it's
Are
like
you-
it's like come down here to meditate stuff. And
Oh,
I
isn't
haven't
that-
been back here. We just got back last night from traveling around with the movie on the release of it and the anniversary of the fire events. It was like, it was wild and exhausting and also exhilarating because like the story got out there, but then we've come back here and it's like so quiet and such a good place to reconnect with my actual feelings about everything, you know. Like it was hard to be emotional because we were just because it was the 1 year anniversary of the fire.
I know, right. Yesterday, well, about a week ago, the 7th, right?
Yeah, the 7th was when LA lit on fire, but then the 8th at 4:30 in the morning. So is when
At
our neighborhood
Altadena.
burned down.
Right.
Yeah.
And okay. Well, you must be very close to Joshua Tree. And then
Like 30 minutes away.
leave it to you to make lemonade out of
Look,
the situation. But
check it
yeah,
out.
we're there.
If you go like see where my finger is or no, can you see?
Yes,
See
now I
that
can.
for far down there? That's the entrance.
Gotcha.
So what was crazy is I raised my son here sometimes, like we'd come here every year and with my brother's family. And so I knew it to be a wonderful retreat, but it always came between Christmas and New Year's. And this holiday, you could see a line of cars straight through, like hundreds of cars. It's crazy popular now, this place.
Yeah. We were there.
I
Go
should
ahead.
have bought a place. I should have bought a place a long time ago. I was thinking about it like 15 years ago.
Yeah, yeah. Well, who knew? I mean, they have a great farmers market even. I remember we stopped by there and I was really impressed. I thought, well, this is great. This is reminds me of being in the Hudson Valley, you know.
It
It's
is
very,
like that. It has the farmers market.
yeah.
It has incredible restaurants and shops, and more than anything, though, it has this amazing community of people that we've been welcomed in with open arms
Oh,
to,
that's
and it's
nice.
really, really nice. Yeah, and it's a good place to heal from your house burning down.
Not only your house, but and which of course is cuts, you know, I understand that's going to be the most sort of um impactful, but also the just the town, the community, you know. I mean, at least, you know, it could have destroyed the community, but your film shows that even the community can withstand even the most horrific of events on some
I
level
think
anyway.
the community is closer than ever.
Right. They pull
The
together.
shared Yeah, because I think what I've reflected on is that we had this love of Altadena in our chests, in our hearts. All of us in our own way just had such a magical experience being there. And and that's thanks to the Black and brown community that have given it their spirit and soul for 50, 60 years. And then this happens and it's kind of like the standard systemic racism takes over and the idea that we
Yeah.
gentrify and all this stuff starts to happen. And it's like, you know, we have to stand with each other at this time. And,
Hmm.
and I feel like we've become closer, all of us. And some of
Right.
us have gotten to know each other. So many of us have been to rallies now and come together on Altadena's Not For Sale and come together to like bring supplies or, this movie has brought people together. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
The Q&As with like 80% of the people holding up their hands that their
Right.
houses burned down. And then we throw a reception every time so people could talk and commune. So I feel like the community is really more together than ever before, but it's very at risk right now. Like we're in a very, very bad place.
Why?
Where because of this of the so many things. I'll
Hmm.
explain it as best I can.
Well, let's give a
So
little just a little bit of background, you know, for people that are watching or listening, because your film, which is called All the Walls Came Down, is starts as a what I thought was going to be a very personal film, and to a degree that element is always exists in the film, but it does become a political film because of what you're referring to in terms of like the economic racism that immediately rears its ugly face, you know, its ugly head. And so it kind of becomes, but then it remains personal. I beg your pardon, because of course this is about human beings coming together, as you described already. Um, you know, to be there ultimately for each other, regardless of how things turn out. But community is, you know, essential for us to survive any of this crap. But
absolutely,
I interrupted
that
you.
is exactly the moral of the story is that you got to try to have a community that is close knit and you have to know your neighbor's gas shut off and you have to be like
Mm-hmm.
the idea that municipal services are going to be there for you because you pay your taxes is a myth
Mm.
that I believed it. I thought so. I thought a fire truck would come even like 2 days after, maybe, even certainly the night of. I thought we would have some protection against the fire, but even if it was like and the most horrific fire, I mean, with 80-mile-an-hour winds blowing embers a mile away, it's also an
Mhm.
impossible fire, practically impossible fire to fight. But I mean, my mom's house in Eaton Canyon survived because there were fire trucks there and they stopped the fire 5 blocks from her house. I mean, the Jewish,
Yeah.
Heritage Center burned down and the temple and a lot of other things in the neighborhood. But she and her immediate neighbors were spared, but we didn't have any evacuation orders even. No one came and told anyone to leave. No fire trucks came. The gas was never shut off.
Mm-hmm.
Blue flames burned all week long,
Mm.
and people in my film say it's almost like they wanted it to burn, you know? For
Right.
me, Adam, I would have made the movie if it was just about me and my house burning down. You know, I was only filming in case there was something. You know, I had
Right.
no
Yeah.
idea what was going to happen.
Your journalistic filmmaker instincts are already flared up, and so you're just waiting for this to come along. And were you surprised
I
that it
wasn't
went in the
waiting.
direction your story
I'm
went in the
out.
direction? Sorry.
Yeah, but no, no, I really wasn't. Because I'd never thought of it as a movie until it went in that direction.
Hmm.
I was literally just, you know, based on my experience with Last Flight Home, I had no idea I was making a film then about my dad. So and
Wow.
that taught me that, you know, we don't know what's sometimes when we're going through trauma and chaos in our lives, what there is to know until we've been through it, you know, and so and you don't know, and like Altadena wasn't, you know, what has happened with Altadena has happened. I'm not the one pulling those strings. I'm just here to document it, and my house burned down in the middle of it, and it's my responsibility to film in case there's something to say, you know. But what has turned out is that, you know, 61% of families that lost their homes are set to become homeless in the next 2 months because their forbearance is running out because they didn't have insurance, or if they did have insurance, it was very low. They were underinsured,
Sure.
which is something that
Hmm.
insurance companies need also to be sued for. It's neglect on their parts, but also, you know, if you bought a house for $100,000, you know, in the
R-
'60s, when you
Right.
were redlined into the area because you weren't allowed to buy in Pasadena, and now the house is worth 1.5 million,
Right.
then how do
Right.
you rebuild that? So then
Right.
our whole community, the culture, the fabric is at stake. You know, all of my neighbors' lives, not all of them, but a lot of them.
Yeah.
And I haven't even, I mean, my plot is just sitting there. I'll deal with that
I was going
at
to ask
some
about it.
point. And
Right.
yeah, I mean, I'm not going to leave it fallow, and I'm not going to sell it to a developer. You know, I'm definitely going to have the responsibility of putting a home there because it's where I raised my son and I loved it so much. And that land and that place is so magical. And I really hope the peacocks are still there because I know they're
Wow.
starving after losing everyone in
Yeah.
the neighborhood. The
Oh,
bears are apparently running around right now looking for food. You know, the whole thing is just, and then there's the toxicity, Adam,
right.
which they're not testing for because they don't want to
Oh
deal
my.
with it. Yeah.
Oh my God. Yeah, like I can see why getting into really describing the situation, you even just is exhausting because it is just so personal and emotional, and to have to keep going over it. I mean, I I don't I'm hoping or assuming something kicks in each time you do a Q&A and have one of these. I know it's exhilarating, but even exhilaration is exhausting, right?
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure I'm bone tired right now. I know I am. And
Mhm.
we traveled with Heavenly Hughes, who you met in the film, all
Yeah.
around. We did 9 screenings in 7 days, and the film came out last week on the 7th. And it has been going really, really, really well in terms of getting the story out there. So I'm very grateful to film and the power of film and community and the filmmaking community and you and the media community
Hmm.
that surround documentaries still, because these stories sometimes once in a lifetime for me, like I'm in the middle of something that's unfolding right now, and
Hmm.
the
Hmm.
film is a short on purpose and fast on purpose because it had to come out right away in order to
Right.
impact the
Yeah.
situation.
Yeah.
But it's rare to
Right.
actually be able to do that, you know? And so
Yeah.
if we can do that right now and stop the foreclosures until the power company pays, which isn't until 2027, and if we can get some bridge funding to
Right.
Heavenly Hughes Adopt a Survivor program, you know, which already so many filmmakers have told me that as they've watched it, so many colleagues of mine in the Academy have so generously contributed to My Tribe Rise after watching, sign the petition we have on change.org. You know, luckily I'm surrounded by filmmakers who
Yeah.
really spend their lives
Mhm.
trying to right the wrongs in the world. their films
Yeah,
or bring
yeah, yeah.
awareness.
But this is
Like that's literally my community. And so it's just been incredible to see that community embrace Altadena, you
well,
know.
and yeah, I mean, as we live through this horrific period, I keep using that word, but it sadly applies. We're living through this horribly dark period of time, and the way so many people explain their um, strategy for resilience, for survival, for just remaining positive is through working with community. So in a weird way, I could see why people are supporting, and this is just like a perfect thing for people to want to support in it. Um, yeah, I'm not really that surprised to
Well,
hear what you're
you know
saying,
what? Yeah, what you're saying is interesting because I said the same thing the other night. I think we were at the Roxy in New York, and I was like, it's so overwhelming the situation in this country right now. If you look at your Instagram or reels or news or you
hmm
know
hmm
anything,
Yeah,
and you're confronted with
you're doom
ICE,
scrolling by
and it's
default.
so
Yeah, you're just
it's
right,
radically it's horrific and
right,
unthinkable, and the first time in ever history of the United States that such violence and crime and so many civil rights are being I mean it's a wild situation right now, and it feels like we're powerless to do anything. And then meanwhile, if I narrow my focus, which is what I do thanks to this film and filmmaking every day, is to get to focus on Altadena, I have something that I can do because
right.
it's local.
Yeah,
It's more
right.
like it's more tangible that we
Sure.
can stop the bleeding in this town right now.
Right.
It's an achievable goal.
Yeah.
It really, we just need a year. We just need to bridge families over a year. We're losing a lot right now. Time is of the essence, but
Right.
if
Right.
we can get families some of their money earlier,
Yeah.
that's already going to be owed. The power company has taken full responsibility for this fire, so they have to pay everyone for the cost of the rebuild. I
Wow.
don't know. I didn't explain this yet to you, but another really important fact is Southern California Edison is going to have to pay everybody. And I have lawyers. I'm also one of those plaintiffs. And so I've gone with their knowledge of the case this entire time. They've been consulting me. And I can tell you with great certainty that they're going to owe billions and billions, and that there's a fire fund in California that was started after the Paradise fires that is 20 billion strong, that will make
Hmm.
sure that State Farm doesn't go bankrupt, and
hmm
or
hmm
the insurance companies don't, and that Southern California doesn't go bankrupt, our power company, and that everybody gets paid. But
Can
no
insurance
one, no
companies
one has
sue
any money
utility?
right now.
I'm
We
sorry.
need the we need a percentage of that money
You're
sooner.
right. Right.
We need like $200,000 per family,
Right.
according to the coalition of people that are actually on the ground there. The Altadena Eaton Fire Survivor Network and
hmm
Coalition, and there's a number of different organizations. And they've determined that if every family of the 6,000 that lost their homes got $200,000 in advance, just now, they
hmm
wouldn't lose their housing and they'd be able to stay on their land. So
Yeah. So there is right, and so we know
there's
the
a
numbers.
goal.
There's it's math, and then
Mhm. And it's tangible.
all
They're going to
yeah.
owe that anyway. They're going to owe 20 billion. So why not
Right.
pay 1.2 now? um, and keep
Yeah.
families. Why should families be homeless because their homes burned down because of your neglect and corporate greed for
Exactly.
keeping the power on so you can charge us while there's 80-mile-an-hour winds and half the city of Los Angeles is on fire? It's
And that's just the practical. So that
unconscionable.
it is unconscionable, and that's only just the practical financial side. We haven't even begun to discuss all the PTSD that comes along with losing everything, that much destruction in people's
Well, that's why
lives.
I'm sitting by this rock. That's why I'm sitting out here in this desert right now.
Yeah, and this is
I'm trying
okay,
to maintain.
and this is after
Yeah,
you
sorry.
came. This happened right on top of a pretty critical health scare for you, which if I had known, I might have reached out and just sort of said hello, and I know, I'm thinking of you. Um, but I'm glad that the news came back pretty good. It sounds like.
It was positive, yeah. But I did say burn everything. I realized that after the fire, that when I had this pancreatic cancer scare, it was actually quite a while ago in 2017.
Mhm.
And it was for the best. I mean, I think it helped me to modify like some of my bad habits as a result of not wanting to have pancreatic cancer. But I
Yeah.
also did pray as I was going into the endoscopic ultrasound and MRI. I
Right.
said, burn everything, burn all my films, burn all my awards. Please just let me see my son grow old, because he was like 12. His father just died in a motorcycle accident. I was like,
Yeah.
oh my gosh, I was terrified. But I can't believe I chose those words. And then he turned 21 and he graduated college in November of 2024, moved all his stuff home in December, like for the holidays.
Mm.
And then on January 7th, everything he'd ever created burned. Everything. Everything from his first piece of artwork to everything, every guitar,
I saw.
So it was
Yeah.
pretty wild. But I said burn everything, so I'm going to choose my words more carefully.
Well, all the walls came down. You're not the only one. All the walls came down is being released by the LA Times, and you're with these one-off screenings. It's just you guys. It doesn't sound right.
That we're doing them?
Well, you
Yeah, I
said
mean,
at
I
the
think like Interloper
Roxy. I'm
Films
sure you've
and
had some friends and
oh,
family screenings and whatnot.
we've had a lot. We've had a really amazing run, because people just are very interested. It's very topical. It's very current events, and I guess, and also it's become really a gathering place for people, like I mentioned, in Los Angeles, both sides. Santa Monica, we did a screening at Smart Post the other day,
Mm-hmm.
packed. The Roxy in San Francisco was full. It was the small theater though, but San Rafael was sold out.
Amazing, amazing.
And
So,
yeah, and the Roxy
is there a
twice now.
Is it
I think,
is there a
yeah.
distribution or I guess that was the question. I'm just like I
Well,
see
LA
that LA
Times is
Los
doing it.
Angeles. Sorry.
The
Oh,
LA
they are.
Times has it out on an open link,
I see.
so you
Right.
can watch it on the LA Times now,
Got it.
and also on YouTube. So everybody's watching it, which is, it really have never had a film come
Fantastic.
out like that, where it just kind of
That makes
everybody's
sense.
passing the link around, and I'm just getting text after text from people like, "Oh my God, Ondi,
Yeah.
I saw your movie and
Uh-huh.
and some impression about it," and that actually heals me, Adam, to hear back from people, that to be able to share the story of my town and to talk about, I was very open with my grief and trauma and guilt about, or not guilt, but feeling weird about crying about material things. I was, thank God my sister was there to consult with me. But I feel like I'm really authentically going through it in this film, and I'm in a different place now because I'm really focused on the activist piece of it. Because it just has to, like, it's an unfolding situation at such a speed. I feel like a monster is devouring our town. So I'm really focused on that right now. But I was in such an emotional place in that film. And so people are immediately connecting to the emotion I felt then, right now, which is actually very healing to me, if that makes sense, because I'm
It
not paying
does make
attention to
sense.
myself right now.
Right.
Um,
Absolutely.
so
Absolutely. Absolutely makes
yeah,
sense.
so that's very
Absolutely.
nice. Yes,
And
it's nice. And
as a result of that, it's been short Oscar shortlisted, which is also can't hurt for
it
for
helps.
getting that word out about the documentary.
It really
Um,
does help. So I'm really grateful to, everyone and anyone who voted for it. Yeah, because it's so important right now. It's really what we need. So, um, yeah, we have to we have to elevate this story to get the governor to stop the foreclosures. You know what I mean? We have to do it all
yeah,
very
right.
fast.
Gavin, I hope you're
So
listening.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. If there was ever a time in my life I would want a nomination, it would be now, just for the
Exactly.
town. I would like, and I did promise not to do any more of these kinds of prayers, but yeah.
I'm going to
But
just
like,
mention
that's
again.
my one and only nomination.
I'm going to just mention again, people can go to either YouTube or latimes.com/shortdocs to find the film and screen it immediately. And 61% of Altadena families who lost their homes in the fire are facing potential homelessness at the beginning of 2026, which is right this minute. And so people can or should visit change.org. We'll include the link on all of our, with the show, with this episode, and let people know that they can help out, even if it's just whatever they can do. But
I think if you go to allthewallscamedown.com, allthewallscamedown.com,
okay,
everything is there.
in one
The
place.
petition's
Okay.
there. Yeah, the Q&As are there. You can watch all our Q&As of some of the ones with other filmmakers, but also you can link to the impact page, and then you
Right.
can contribute to Heavenly's Adopt a Survivor program, or
Oh, I see.
yeah, anything. You can figure out when our next screenings are, because we're still screening. So
Yeah, that's a good use for a website. Useful information. Yeah.
all that stuff. And then
Yeah.
also you just search All the Walls Came Down, LA Times or Interloper Film, and the movie will come up.
Well,
so please share it. Yeah, and spread the word.
Yeah, I will.
And thank you, Adam. Thank you for
my pleasure. Yeah, I'm glad to do it. And hopefully this will be the first episode in a way of, a series of how community can conquer, tragedy, or can conquer, the forces that aren't taking care of community. It's us against them in this way. But
well, what I love, one thing I have to say about Heavenly in that regard, and just one last thing, is that she nurtures the community. She calls in. When I saw those power lunches and stuff, you asked me personal and political. The film starts very personal, but it moves out in these waves and these ripples to find the community, the neighbors, and then eventually Heavenly, the silver lining. And then once we do that, we can kind of go back and forth between the really intimate stories and the story of the community rising together. And that's the way I structured it, because at the end of the day, it is about the power of community to uphold every member of it. But that community needs nurturing,
Yes.
and it needs love. And so I love that. And it needs empowerment, because people are really down, and there's been suicides, and even a 12-year-old girl died. Heavenly mentioned the other day. She gets thousands of calls. People are in desperate straits. So yeah,
I know I should have invited her on here. I mean, I regret that I didn't do that. But
we can do another one.
Okay.
We can do another one.
I'll do it. We'll do it. We can, in the coming weeks. And
yeah,
I'd really like that.
It's also, thank you. And it's also an unfolding situation. So
that's right. There'll be a lot of news, no doubt. Right.
Yeah. Anyway, thanks, Adam.
All right.
Good to see you. I like that setup you got. I've never actually seen you in your home studio. I've always been seeing you at a festival.
That's true. Yeah, I'm just in what we call the office, and and I like your rock, and I
thank you. I've never done an interview for my rock.
No,
this is my first interview.
It might be mine,
because I was trying to meditate and just calm down. And just kind of
That's really, really good stuff to do. Meditation is very smart.
Yeah, I was trying to meditate. See, I have my books. I've got Peace, Idiots, Burden of Dreams, all the things.
Well,
yeah.
All right, so I'll be in touch with. Good. And I say hi to Morgan and your family, and we'll talk again soon. You're welcome.
Thanks, Adam.
All right.
Okay.
Same.
Much
here.
love.
Same here. All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
All right. How are you? Oh, and you are. It looks like you might be standing in Altadena on a block that's.
I'm actually on my block. Our home is right across the street. We just did an interview here. There's been a lot of talk after Trump made his statement and signed that executive order today to take over the permitting process here in Altadena. So it's been a concern.
Yeah, and I hadn't even delved into the details of that. I'm somewhat unprepared. I'm sorry to say.
Oh, I wasn't prepared either. I had to meet with our team members and like, what is going on here? And is this something that could be helpful? Like, okay, I feel like the way it's going to be helpful is going to put pressure on our local elected officials. Because, if Trump says something, it makes everybody make some moves. So I feel like it may help to expedite the process of permitting. Yet we don't need him to come and take over. We see what him taking over how it has impacted different communities. What we need him to do is give the $34 billion is going to take federal funding to rebuild our community.
Yeah, and I just don't have much faith in him as that would be a priority for him to cough up that kind of money for a community that wasn't of billionaires, where he could get like the money back with great interest or something. Like if
Well, we're
there's
asking
not
for
something in it,
mercy and empathy. We're asking for mercy and empathy. Like,
I know.
understand that he has said, I've heard him say before, community first. If that's what you mean, put our community first. This has been a community that has built Altadena since the 1800s. When we think about the Negro Canyon and how the canyons here is what provided tons and tons of lumber to build LA and all these different cities.
Mm-hmm.
It was a Black family that had a relationship with the military right here in Altadena that did all that lumber cutting and had that lumber business back in the late 1800s. So talking about community first, this community has given to the build out of Los Angeles County of California. Now we need support.
Yeah. Well, I'm rooting for you guys every step of the way, and it's really nice to meet you. And Heavenly, I wish it could be under better circumstances, but tell everybody a little bit about your. First of all, Heavenly is one of many families who, have been in Altadena, and today, as we're speaking, it was a year ago when the fires were raging through Altadena, right, destroying one home after another.
Yes.
How does that feel for you? 1 year to know a whole year has gone by, and everybody's still trying to push hard to get the support that you guys really need in order to make it, to endure until, what's the name of the utility? Southern Cal.
We call Edison International is the mother company that needs to be held accountable. So I'll just share. Thank you so much, Adam, for having me on your
Of
show
course.
today.
Oh,
My name is Heavenly Hughes. I am the co-founder and executive director of My Tribe Rise. I am a 50-year Altadenian, raised by the Black community here. The culture of Altadena is what raised me for the past 50 years. And so this is very personal to me for this fire which has torched the livelihood of our community, stripped away our generational wealth. And this catastrophe continues to hit harder as we evolve after the fire. Statistics just was shared with me that over 80% of Altadenians are now unhoused, facing being unhoused again due to the fact that the subsidies that has been holding us in regards to housing, like the additional living expenses, FEMA, and other nonprofit organizations that have funding to help bring some subsidies to pay these outrageous rental prices. If we could just imagine that homeowners like my parents who bought back in the 70s, homes that may have cost at that time 100,000, 150,000, who we've lived in the same home for decades. And so now our seniors, our matriarchs and patriarchs of these homes who lost everything are now having to pay these outrageous rental prices. And although we're being told there's vacancies, is accessibility is the problem because people are not qualifying for these outrageous prices. I mean, if you're on fixed income, living off of your retirement, you don't have $5,000 additional a month to pay these outrageous rental prices. And so we are thankful for those who have been able to help us pay some of these subsidies, but most of those funds have exhausted. So now
Yeah.
we're facing being unhoused again.
Oh my God. Yeah, it's so very stressful.
So Southern California Edison is the company who is local here. Now the mother company is Edison International.
Sure.
That's who needs to pay out.
Okay.
Um, of of course, through this lawsuit, we are doing our best to get justice for 626 here in Altadena. Yet that is some time away, and we need some type of bridge financing in the interim to help us sustain and be stable until this lawsuit is complete. And we know that we are going to be this lawsuit is the closest way to be made whole. Yet we want Edison International to help pay for housing now. We want Edison
Yeah.
International to provide funding to do the testing for the pollution and contamination that we are experiencing here to get our soil, our structure, our air tested. We want Edison International to fix what they've broken here in Altadena.
I just want a couple of clarifications, I guess. And, we spoke mostly, hit most of the talking points, I guess, in informing people like what's going on there and how they can help. But I just wanted to make sure it was clear that the Edison International, this is what I was getting at before we were cut off, they took a responsibility, right, for certainly the how things turned out, if not for the actual fires themselves, but there's certainly how bad things got, and the right, because of they were made a number of bad decisions and or practice neglect, right? I mean, isn't that the case that led to the fires and how bad it got for in all the homes that were lost?
Oh, Edison International is definitely at fault and should be held accountable.
Right.
They should be the ones fixing what they've broken here in Altadena. Yet they have not. I want to make sure we clarify that they have not taken responsibility.
Okay. So I misunderstood a little part of maybe what it was. I thought it was clearer that, they had made a number of really bad steps, and caused a lot of the damage that happened. Certainly, we know that they're not good guys. I mean, like what utility company ever is, but
They're for profit. They're for profit.
oh,
They're
sure.
not concerned about the livelihood of the of Altadenians. They're a for-profit organization, of course. So they have not taken responsibility. People
Okay.
feel they've taken responsibility because they're offering this compensation plan. Yet it is another way to deter people from being made whole and them fixing completely what they've broken. They're offering pennies on the dollar through this compensation plan.
Okay. Okay. And we already know from the last time you and I spoke that many families have run out of the sort of temporary subsidies that were keeping them holding on until whatever this pennies on the dollar does appear. So now it's just a matter of your organization trying to raise money to help these people, right?
That's exactly right. I feel like we're part of the Eaton Fire Survivors Network, and we are asking for $200,000 to be paid out from what Edison International already owes, to help bring some stability to people so they don't feel forced to sell their homes because they do not have the resources to pay on a mortgage on a land that they can't live on.
Right.
And these outrageous rental prices, right? A lot of people are not even accustomed to paying these type of prices because they've been in their homes for 30,
Right.
40,
For decades, for generations, they've lived fortunately through wonderful choices that their parents or grandparents made many years ago, and now are being taken advantage of. Do you think is there any good news amidst all this tragedy?
The good news is just what you see in the film All the Walls Came Down is the community continues to come together. It is all about community building. We understand oftentimes we have to take care of ourselves, especially at the state that this administration has left our community crippled right now. And so we have learned how important it is to build community. And that is why My Tribe Rise is taking steps to fill in these gaps through our bridge financing program to help people hold on so they don't have to give up their property. They don't have to feel forced out of their community of Altadena. So that's the good thing is community building and all the walls coming down and us getting to know more about our neighbors and connecting. Even in the midst of being displaced, we're still building Altadena because we are Altadena, the community members, the people, we are Altadena. And we're still building Altadena even in the midst of us being displaced.
Well said. Well put. And I 100% rooting for your community. You guys are inspirational, but help is needed. So it's not just about people coming together. It's about people and companies doing the right thing by you guys. And as you mentioned, all the walls came down is the name of this short documentary. It is available to watch on the LA Times website, I believe.
Yes.
And I urge people to do so. And it's an important story that everybody needs to see because this could have happened. This could happen to any community.
It could happen to any community. We've watched it happen. I mean, we've been in connection with Maui, the mayor of Maui, watching how their recovery is going. And it does take the support of community, yet it also, we look outside of just community to help us protect and preserve these precious people's livelihood. So, with that said, I would like to just share. There's 4 things that I really am urgently suggesting support for. We need to direct leasing. Direct leasing will support those who are at risk of being unhoused again. So, as we talked about earlier, we're at these funds have been exhausted, where there's additional living expenses or subsidies that we're helping with housing. Yet, if FEMA and Cal OES activated their direct leasing program, they could hold leases for survivors. Because a lot of survivors, there may be vacancies, but it's not accessibility because they can't qualify. They don't have 3 times the amount of rent.
Sure.
They don't have a rental history. They may be on fixed incomes. There's different things that's making it where these rentals that are there are not available. Yet, if Cal OES and FEMA activated direct leasing, survivors will have stable housing. The other thing I feel like should be put in is that there should automatically be a freeze on people being dropped from their insurance for at least 3 years. You should not even have to worry about being dropped from your insurance due to filing a claim after such a catastrophe. There also should be a freeze on selling property to developers and people in different countries. because that's exactly what we're seeing. I think over 60% of the land that has been purchased are developers who are outside of the country. There should be a freeze on that. And then, of course, there should be a freeze on foreclosures.
Is there also any? I mean, I assume there is a lawyer or a law firm that is supporting you guys in case lawsuits have to be brought against any of these organizations you mentioned, like an insurance company, for instance.
Yeah, definitely. Right now, we work closely with Justice for 626, Attorney Nathaniel Mack. Excuse me. We do know that the only way we're going to be made the closest to being whole is through this lawsuit where we're suing Edison International to fix what they broke. And so, yes, we work closely with a mass tort attorney. He is a Black man who understands the hurt and pain that the Black community of Altadena is experiencing. We've seen so many times in the history of America where Black communities have been forced out due to disasters such as this and other things as well. So Attorney Nathaniel Mack, Justice for 626, is serving our community and fighting for justice to make us whole.
Well, with your permission, I would love to check back in maybe 6 months to a year from now and see where you guys are at, but
Yes.
people can certainly go to My Tribe Rise, which you are one of the founders of.
Yes, mytriberise.org. Please check us out. You'll be able to find out about our Adopter Survivor Bridge financing program. That is what's really helping to hold community together. As of now, we've given out like $1 million. We need millions more to be able to help people sustain.
Wow. Well, thank you. And
thank you so much for this opportunity. Truly appreciate this time with you.
I do too. It's really great to meet you. And yeah, I'll check back in. I want to know how things are going, and I will certainly urge people to help however they can.
Thank you so much, Adam. Please be sure to go watch All the Walls Came Down.
All the Walls Came Down.
Walls They Come.
Starring the great Heavenly Hughes.
Thank you.
All right. You have a good evening.
Peace and blessings. Thank you, Adam.
Thank you.